G'day, hi, and welcome. Alright, should you buy a floating bridge, locking bridge system, tremolo, or a fixed bridge system? What's better and why would you buy one over the other? Well, obviously there's going to be the obvious things of fixed bridge is, as you can see in my incredible Gibson SG3 5-string. Okay, I can play that guitar for the rest of the end of the time and it's still in tune. Didn't matter. I broke the B string on it a while. No problem. I'll live with it until I can't live with it, right? Oh no, I'm going to be changing the strings on it pretty soon. Whereas if I broke a string on the floating system, I pretty much have to replace that other string or else I will not be able to play the guitar. So obviously the fixed bridge stays in tune better in the sense of when you break a string, it doesn't go out of tune. If they do, they go out so slight that you really can't tell. The other thing is with the fixed bridge is that you have the advantage it's a lot quicker to change strings on. I mean, you slip it through there, put it on get the string winder, done. This, you got to cut the ball end off, you got to feed it through, or take off the lock nut, put it on, tune it up, tune it up again. So there's a little more work with these guys, and it's not that much more, but it's a little bit more. Not enough to put you off of buying it. Obviously, the whiz bang tricks you can do with a Floyd Rose or other floating bridge systems is you can do very cool open string vibratos, which you cannot do on a fixed bridge. The other thing, you can do dive bombs, you can raise pitch it, you can do all kinds of tricks and whiz bang Steve Vai-ish kind of Diamond Daryl type of tricks, whammy bar tricks. So that's pretty cool too. Gives you a different dynamic to your playing. Sustain tends to be better on a fixed bridge. Adjustability is a lot easier on a fixed bridge. For example, to adjust this bridge, you could just adjust these two thumb saddle raises here. You just do them by the thumb, and then your individual saddles here. You can basically, it's just a little screw. That's it. That's the whole thing. Oh, and then you can also final adjust tension is on these. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know about that. They just put them all the way down. No, you don't do that. This is actual adjusting your string tension too. If you're popping strings off your, Les Paul or whatever style guitar, it's probably because you got that too high of a tension. If you bring it up, basically you only tighten this down. Just so you know, you only tighten this down enough so that you're not getting any buzzing off the bridge. If you're getting buzzing off the bridge, tighten that down just a tad bit and do it evenly. If you're not getting any, lighten it up. What'll happen, and if it's not tight enough, you'll get either a little bit of buzzing on this, or your guitar's going to sound a little bit dead, not lively. Where this gives you the extra tension, right, that you need on the bridge itself because it's going across, right? But the actual intonation, there you go, and it's all you need. Very simple. This, you're doing the same thing, but you're doing it a little bit differently. You got the individual Allen nuts here, and it's a lot more trial and error. You cut the ball end off the string, you tighten it in on that little block, it holds it in, you tighten it in. Don't over tighten it, you will definitely strip it, like I did with this one, and had to replace it, and it took me a while to find that. But to get your intonation on these, you got to play around with it a little bit more, trial and error. And then you got your the overall bridge plate height is adjusted by these two screws here. And, you play around with it till you get it. And then, of course, you got your fine tuners here. So both accomplish the same thing. They just do it a little bit different. And this has the feature of doing dive bomb stuff. So in what case would you, most people say it's a no-brainer. You go with the Floyd Rose or Shaler system or whatever whammy bar system because you get the extra versatility. Why would you ever go to a fixed bridge? Well, tone comes down. The problem with the floating bridge systems is that it's not really anchored directly to the body of the guitar as much, so you don't quite get that natural ambience and tone out of a... Although some of them can sound pretty good, you'll always get better tonal qualities out of a fixed bridge. Hands down. 9 times, if you have 2 guitars of the same thing, you can get this Jackson B, for example, with a fixed bridge or with a Floyds on them. And the ones with the fixed bridges, they just tend to play a lot better. The other thing too is you'll notice how when you're playing a fixed bridge, that the intonation just seems a little bit better. The evenness over the strings seem to be, between one string to the next, seems to be a bit better. I don't know what it is exactly. I mean, they're both roughly about the same distance from the fretboard and everything like that, but it just seems, everything seems to flow a little bit smoother on the fixed bridge. Again, I've played Jacksons with the fixed bridge too, and it's the same thing. It's like the fixed bridge version always seems to be just a little bit more refined. So let's say you're recording, you know, if it doesn't require a dive bomb, you'll probably want the fixed bridge more. The other thing too is the fixed bridges are less hassle, like I say, easier to change strings. You just pop a string in there and you're up in less than 2 minutes, right? Where this, it's quite the procedure to change a string. What happened to me with years ago, where I had a couple of guitars. I always have a fixed bridge as the backup when I had my Les Paul. That was my backup, but sometimes I'd prefer to just play the Les Paul for the entire night. And then other times I'd play the Hammer. I had the Hammer Diablo. I'm really missing that guitar for some reason. I was like, geez, it was such a good guitar. And of course, my Ibanez RG750 was a really cool guitar too. But it was having that as the front guitar, we'll just say, with the Floyd on it. Okay, if I broke a string, and I knew the backup guitar, if it were to break a string, I could still finish the night with 5 strings. It would just sound a little bit different. I would have to get very creative. This is where music theory really helps you, because everything that you have to do on the B, you have to do somewhere else. So, you know, you get very creative when that happens. But I've yet to have that happen where... there's only one night where I broke a string on both my main guitar and my backup guitar, but I was able to finish... the set with, I think I broke an E string, which was, and nobody noticed. Nobody noticed, because the fixed bridge, my Les Paul stayed in tune the entire time. So it was the second last song, so I finished up that I think it was the second set. I popped a string on it, and I was good. And I remember one guy was like, right at the last song, he goes, "Oh, dude," he says, he grabs the string, he's like, "You broke your string." I said, "Yeah, the last, the song just before." He goes, "I didn't even notice." Why? Because the show must go on, you keep playing. But when you break a string on that, it's like, you could hear like the brakes squealing and everybody stops and looks at you. He broke a string. But you just, you know, I had the AB switch. That's around here somewhere anyway, probably. Anyway, I don't know where my AB switch is. So I just, you know, grabbed that guitar, put it on the stand, and then grabbed the other guitar, and, well, not these guitars. These guitars, believe it or not, these guitars haven't actually been played live yet. But they will be. They've been jamming with people, but they haven't played live in a bar yet. So, although, I don't know. This guitar, I bought this with that in mind. This guitar, it's like, oh, I don't know if I really want to be bringing that out to a bar. I've got to be getting paid pretty good to bring stuff like that out to a bar. Not even just the wear and tear on the guitars like I've been talking about, but it's just that it's a type of guitar that'll sit on the stage and people will walk by and say, "Oh, cool guitar." That'll sit on the stage and somebody's planning, how close can we get it to the back door? You know, and I've heard of, you know, especially when it comes to Gibsons and Fenders and stuff like that, sometimes, you know, just the temptation is too much for some people. And I would hate to have that thing disappear, because you can't get these anymore unless you find them used, right? But yeah, the fixed bridge versus the Floyd. If you can get both, you're happy. But if you can only choose one guitar, if I had to choose just one guitar, I'm going with the Gibson. You know, out of these two, because that's, you know, the sound out of this thing is just incredible, and it records really nice too. I can live without the whammy bar, but for show off, you know, attention whore mentality that I have, this is really fun too. Flying V's are very cool to have out on stage. People always like them. Because you always get the same thing. It's, oh, I'm a guitar player too. I'd love to have a flying V, but not as my main guitar. It's too pointy or whatever. I mean, this thing's the same size as my freaking nephew, man. My nephew's 4.5, and he's like, that's how big my nephew is. So they could be a little bit weird to tote around. You know, what the hell do you put them in if you don't have a proper case? It's like, yeah, you can't put them on a regular stand. Yeah, there just is what it is, right? But yeah, it was a very fun guitar. But whatever style guitars you go with, if you are a person that is totally sold on the whammy bar thing, it is nice to have a guitar. Let's say you're doing recording and you're doing backing tracks for the rhythm, and you don't need any dive bombing or stuff like that. Maybe for that backup guitar or the rhythm guitar, maybe go with a fixed bridge, get something a little more solid and sustainy, and then you can cut loose on the solos with your. I record like that a lot too. When I do record, I haven't recorded in a while, but that's one of the things I've always done is use these guitars. These guitars are great for the solos and stuff like that, but I always found that if you had a really sweet sounding rhythm guitar, it really just adds that extra tonal qualities, and that's some of the nice stuff. But if you're going after what's more practical for live playing, obviously a fixed bridge, typically has the better sustain and tone. Typically the fixed bridge, what's quicker for string changes. The fixed bridge, what's better for, seems to easier to intonate. The fixed bridge, what's better when you break a string, still stays in tune. Typically the fixed bridge. You want to do drop D tuning really quick between songs, from one song to the next, fixed bridge. So the amount of advantages you have to the fixed bridge is usually overwhelmingly in its favor. However, when you want the giggle factor of doing dive bombs and showing off and raise pitches and the elevator raise and the kitty purr and stuff like that, or the kitty growl, kitty purr, it's the whiz bang, right? So for all the things you have to live with the Floyd, it's just that one trick that it can do that you don't get out of the fixed bridge is why you buy it. So, but as a main guitar, and if you can only afford one guitar ever in your life, whichever you pick, you're going to be happy with. Again, what put me off of these things, I gave up on these things years ago just because I was tired of taking so long to change strings playing live. I used to play like 4 nights a week, right? So you break a string and it's like, okay, at the beginning of the week, after the 4th night, the strings were just completely crudted and done. So you're constantly changing strings, and I found it so tedious. And my Les Paul, I was like, I'd have it restrung in like less than 3 minutes, you know what I mean? 3 to 5 minutes. These things always took me about 10 to 15 or more, taking my time, resetting everything up and checking it, make sure all the clearance is there and nothing's buzzing. And it just became a little bit more of a hassle. So I got lazy. But I would never say don't buy one. It was cool after so many years of not having a tremolo system, probably a decade with no tremolo systems at all on any of the guitars I had, to go back to this thing. And it's just like, I remember when I used to do this. Whee! And it's fun, and I'm glad I have it. If I could only pick one system, I would probably stick with a fixed bridge, because you can still play very cool stuff with a fixed bridge. But it is nice to have that little extra giggle factor of showing off and stuff like that. And the audience loves it too. So anyway, there we go. Going on long again. But if you're indecision, toss a coin. I'm sure you'll be fine whichever way you go. Yes, a little more versatility, but a little more work to set up. Not a big problem, but there is things that, if you're going to buy a floating system, I would just say research of how to set one up properly. If it's going to be a Floyd Rose, which 9 times out of 10, most guitars, Floyd Rose got the sale of the century, and almost every guitar manufacturer puts a version of Floyd Rose, whether they make it or Floyd Rose made it, on their guitars. Ibanez has their own versions of their locking systems, tremolo systems, which I really like the Ibanez ones, the way they're set up. If you're lucky enough to get a guitar with a Shaler system on it, again, pretty nice stuff. Just learn about how to set them up properly so that Because people buy these things and they don't realize that you have to put a little more time into them. And again, it's I'm not talking like it's the end of the world here, but it's just a little bit more. You're not just feeding the string through and bringing it up to pitch. You got to finesse it a bit. So learn about it, enjoy it, take your pick. If tone and sustain is your tone and sustain purist, you're going to go with a fixed bridge anyway. But if you don't mind giving up a little bit of tone, yeah, there you go. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you like the video. And if you want to add anything to the discussion, if you thought I got something wrong, go ahead, let me have it. If you think you got a couple of points that you think I might have missed, go ahead and share with everybody else. Rising tide floats all boats, so the more we could all learn here, the better. I'm just telling you from my experience of what I find with these things. So next to that, rate, subscribe, share, comment, like. Be true to yourself. Be true to others. Always do the right thing. Have yourselves a great day.